Greetings and welcome to Connecting with the Intent Show. I'm your host Muhammad Awais. On this episode, we have a very special guest. He is Strategic Connections Advisor, keynote speaker, and podcast host, Yermi Kurkus. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Yermi Kurkus. Yermi, welcome.
Thank you so much, Awais. I really appreciate you. It's always an honor and a privilege, and thank you for having me.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Yeah, sure. So everything really started from a very young age. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. I'm the oldest in my family, so my parents were very early stages of their career, of their business. But they used to have me, go spend time with my grandmother. My grandmother was more established. She had a bigger business, and I got a chance to be raised by her in a sense. Um, and I was always curious to see, she did all this amazing things. She had, restaurants and catering and all these, and I said, Grandma, how, like, wow, And one thing that was really interesting to me is that, unfortunately, she grew up she was born and raised during World War II, and so she couldn't really, read or write. She didn't get that opportunity. So I said, how does a person like you who doesn't know how to read or write build this kind of business? And so she taught me a lot of different things of like how to build relationships, how to, she told me her story, how she came from, being an immigrant. She immigrated from a country from where she was to Canada, and how she just basically built herself through different things that she did in business. And that really inspired me. And I said, I want to be like you one day. So that's where I am.
What is your higher purpose in life?
Oh, that's one of my favorite questions. I really believe that business does not have to be difficult. I believe that business does not have to be, dog eat dog. Everybody's fighting and competing and all that. And there is a better way to do business that is more seamless, more streamlined, and a lot less stressful. So my mission is to show people how to do that.
What have been top three greatest challenges that you have had to overcome?
Oh, so as I started telling you the story of my grandmother, and as I was telling you that a lot of people in my family are all entrepreneurs and business owners, and to me it just wasn't, something wasn't adding up. Here's my beautiful grandmother who was amazing, did business the way she did, and then seeing all the other people how they did business and the competition and I remember myself. I used to struggle with sales. When I started this business, it started with coaching. I'm no longer a coach, but I never knew how to sell coaching. How do you do that? And it was very, very challenging to be able. I used to hate the whole sales process, the whole, you know, and then slowly discovered, and I said, you know what, I'm done selling, and discovered how to do it differently and really just more connect people. And to the name of your podcast, connect with intention. This has transformed my business, and again, now I'm helping others to discover that as well.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Oh my goodness! Wow, there's too many to count. Um, I like to see it as they weren't necessarily failures. They were more, lessons. I teach this to my children. I teach this to many other people. You know, it's not about failing. It's about trying, and you're supposed to do everything you can. I do believe that an entrepreneur is somebody who's the artist of business. You have to be very creative, and that often requires trial and error. You have to try different things. So there were many businesses in my life that I've built that either succeeded but only for a limited amount of time, or eventually failed or stuff like that. The only thing that in terms of recovery, I wish that I was younger. I wish that I was more, brazen when I was younger and do more mistakes. I tell this to my younger children now. I have teenagers. I tell them make your mistakes now, so that you could get the lessons fast. So but recovering, we always find creative ways and unique ways because that's what entrepreneurs do.
What is the most impactful book you have read and what did you learn from it?
There are too many to count. But the first one that comes to mind is anything by the author Bob Berg, who coincidentally became my mentor because I absolutely love his work and I love his books. So the Go Givers, the whole Go Giver series, the Endless Referrals, great book. And right now his latest book is From Streets Wise to Sales Wise. So anything by the author Bob Berg, you're gonna be really happy you read those books.
Yeah. What are your goals for the next 12 months?
Yeah, so there's this new program that we're now putting out to help entrepreneurs in their early stages of their career to just gain that momentum. There's a lot of people either leaving their 9 to 5, or they're kind of in the middle, or they just did leave, and they're not yet fully independent of other financial abilities, and they want to get more momentum in their business. They want to get more long-term profits in their business. So we've put together a program that will help them do that. So that's what we're focused on right now.
What advice you will give to younger yourself?
Connect more. Just be more of a connector. Be authentic. Stop wanting to be liked. That was a big thing when I was doing my public speaking, which I still do. But in earlier when I just started the public speaking, I used to be scared, and not from they say that public speaking is one of the biggest fears. I didn't have the fear of public speaking. I had the fear of being liked. Are the audience gonna like me? Are they gonna like what I'm sharing? But the moment I learned to release that, some people will like you, some people won't, but absolutely love what you do, love yourself first, and when you're expressing what you're doing and what you're talking about, say it with love. Show that you love what you're doing, and the lesson I learned is that it's a little bit hard not to like somebody who loves you. At least liking them. I'm not saying that they're gonna love you, but it's a little bit hard to not at least like somebody who loves you. So that's the advice I would have given myself.
That's a great advice. How can we support you?
So yeah, once again, the goal is the strategic igniter. The program that we're releasing. It's actually a 5-day free challenge. There's no commitment whatsoever, but it gives the people a taste of how we could work together potentially, if that's something they choose. But it's a 5-day, 5 action steps. You have 24 hours to do the action steps that are in the email, and that's going to at least start the momentum. It's about connecting with people. It's about strategically and intentionally connecting with people, and how to leave a lasting impact on them, that not only are they doing business with you, but they become advocates for your business. So they go and tell everybody about you and what you do. So we have that 5-day free email challenge that people could take and benefit from it.
What would you say about your guest appearance on the show?
It's pretty amazing. I mean, you have it very concise, and you know what you're after, and it's very intentional. So true to your name, I think you're running a great show. So again, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate you. What closing thoughts would you like to share with our listeners?
Sure. So oftentimes people believe that success is difficult. I have to sacrifice. I have to, blood, sweat, and tears. I have to, all these kind of things. That's unfortunate. That's not necessarily the truth. And really, if you're very intentional with how you do it, going to networking meetings. A lot of people are afraid of networking meetings. Well, guess what? Networking meetings could be fun. Connecting with the right, what we call income producing connections. This is critical for early stages of business. So how to do that with intention, how to have conversations that make you interesting, that people want to do business with you. Imagine Awais, you're there and people are like, Awais, where were you my whole life? Oh my gosh, I need to do business with you, right? That would be
Yeah.
incredible. And the smile, just the pleasantness, the being around you is fun. Being on this show is incredible. So these are things that are very doable, and it actually makes success a whole lot more enjoyable and not as difficult as a lot of people it makes it sound. So my message to the listeners is that it's very, very possible to have a really good time on the path to success, and you don't have to resent it.
Thank you so much, Yermi, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of connecting with the intent community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Muhammad West. Until the next episode, all good wishes.